Hi there guys, Alex from TeCHz Nation here, and I'm playing Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on the PS3, and this is going to be like the Battlefield 4 video that I did. Just going to be giving my thoughts on the game, what you can expect from it, what it's like, and so on. So first of all, I'll get into the plot of it, and basically, if you look at the previous games, for example Assassin's Creed 1, when you play as Altair, you're already an established assassin. Assassin's Creed 2, you play as Ezio. Now in Assassin's Creed 2, you have to learn from the ground up. You have practically no skills whatsoever. So you learn from the ground up how to be an assassin. But you're still in the Creed. You're still working for the assassins. Assassin's Creed 3, you play as Connor, as you can see him there. And he... because he's a native Indian and he lives in the forests around the Americas, he's used to this really rugged terrain. He knows how to navigate it really well, so he's got quite a few of the core skills required by an assassin, so that kind of helps boost his ability in a way, and that's probably the reason why Achilles trains him up to be an actual assassin. Now with this Assassin's Creed 4, it's different because you're a pirate who ends up selling a list of assassins' names to the Templars for coin, but then the Templars basically screw you over, so you end up trying to get back at them, and you just basically, by chance, you end up helping the assassins. Now, as far as I've gotten so far, I think I'm just about to hit sequence 4, I think. Maybe sequence 5, I can't remember. But so far, I'm not actually an assassin at all. I just happen to have the robes, which you steal off of a assassin who tries to kill you, and then you have all his weaponry, and it's just a big confusion thing that you just happen to get really lucky with in regards to the Templars. Other than that, naval warfare and naval transport, as you can see here, is a big thing now. I was a little skeptical because in Assassin's Creed 3 I don't really feel it was too great, because it was kind of fixed, like you couldn't really venture out and see what, where you could go. It was like you start a mission and that's it. But in this, using your ship, which you can see there, is your way of transport, is the only way you can get from one place to another. Once you discover a place, yes, you can fast travel. That is obviously possible. That's always been involved implemented, I should say, into Assassin's Creed games. But this is a big thing now. It's not something you can just bypass. A lot of the missions as well are based around it. Even if it's where you have to use your ship just to get somewhere, or meet, for example, Blackbeard, or Thatch as they call him in the game. So that's a big thing, and as I said, I was a little skeptical, but it works really well. It fits, and it's one of those things that you probably have to play yourself rather than watch gameplay of it, because it doesn't seem too different, but it is pretty good and it is enjoyable. It's not like, oh, I've got to go on the ship now. No, you want to do it, and as you can see there, you have 3 options once you plunder a ship, providing you don't destroy it. You can repair it, which I did here. You can lower your wanted level, so ships like that, pirate hunters, won't come after you as often, if at all. And you can also send it to your fleet. And your fleet is basically the same thing as what they've had before. And for example, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, you had assassin contracts. You could send your assassins away, and they would do contracts for you in other countries across the world, and even some in Italy, I believe itself, and they will bring you back money, items, valuables, things like that, along with a completed contract, so that would help you a lot more, and so on. So that's basically back, but it's done differently. You have to get ships, and then you have to send them out, and so just scrolling here. Pros and cons. To be fair, I actually have not found any cons yet of the game. It doesn't glitch. doesn't lag, it doesn't freeze, so nothing like that performance wise. And I am playing this on the PS3, not the PS4, for obvious reasons. That's not out yet. Apparently the graphics and the physics and whatnot will be better on the PS4, but not by a massive amount. For example, like Battlefield 4 will be. So I don't really know what it looks like yet, but from what we've heard from critics, it's not too big a difference. So really, you can't go wrong with getting this on either console. If you're not getting the game, the next gen console straight off, you don't need to worry. This isn't going to affect you at all. It's not going to hinder you because you haven't got the latest console. So there's no problem there. Pros, it's just basically a much better version of Assassin's Creed 3. And I emphasise the word much there because I loved Assassin's Creed 3. It's my favourite one apart from Assassin's Creed 2. But this, it just seems to flow better. The side missions, although the story is apparently shorter, the side missions implement more with it. It connects better. So make of that what you will. That is basically varies per person whether that's a pro or a con. Next, progress and upgrades and things like that. More to do now. Outfits are more to do with you have to craft them, or you have to send your ships off, or any of your fleet off to a contract, and then they come back and they might have it for you. Things like that. Crafting itself is better. It's harder to do because you actually need to locate certain animals. For example, you can imagine you're not going to find a jaguar on a tiny desert island in the middle of nowhere. You're going to find a jaguar in a big island that's going to be harder to locate it in the first place. So, kind of goods and bads in there, but overall it does toll up to be a very good system. Much better than the previous ones, I have to say. Locations, this is basically all based in the West Indies. So, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that this is based before Assassin's Creed 3. So, I'm pretty sure that Edward Kenway here you play as. Connor Kenway, I think, is his godson. I believe. I've either got it. It's either that or Edward Kenway is Connor Kenway's godson. Something like that. I haven't looked into it, I haven't been able to find much on it. But other than that, there isn't really much to say about the connection there. As far as I can tell, there's not really been any major connection or anything to suggest any even relationship or anything yet between the two assassins or two playable characters. So, other than that, there isn't much to say about the game either, really. All I can say is it is just a better version of Assassin's Creed 3. Everything you do it just works well with the game, if that makes sense. It's not like previous games where you would do a contract and it would seem a bit, well, that's a bit random. Well, I'm just going to go kill a merchant because he's stealing off people. Why? But deal with it, sort of thing. Now you're actually going after Templars in contracts. If you want to do an assassin contract, you're not just going to go after some rugged merchant. You're actually going to go after a Templar. So, in terms of difficulty, they're not any more difficult or easier. They're pretty much the same. Stealth is definitely a bigger thing in this, especially when it comes to looting warehouses full of loot and upgrades and crafting materials. So that you have to go in stealth a lot of the time, because otherwise it's going to be a bitch to find the guy with the key. So you have to think about what you're doing, use eagle vision, locate where he is in gold, as we all know, and then you go after him from there. And once you've got him, once you've found him, it doesn't really matter too much what you do, but you get a big bonus if you don't get spotted. You get monetary bonus. Upgrading your ship. There's lots that you can do. At this point, I've got 13 cannons each side, and everything else is pretty basic. I've got intermediate armor. It's not very high. I'm round about halfway, just below it, I think. So my ship isn't really that good at the moment, but I'm still doing quite well. And you can see at the top there, top left, you got the white line is the amount of crew you've got, which you can increase by purchasing crew space and quarters for your ship. And there are 3 main ways to get crew. One is to do what I just did there, which was loot sorry, not loot, but rescue someone who's drifting, so someone from a shipwreck, and if you've got room they will come in your crew. If not, you don't get anything for it. You don't get any money, I don't think. You don't get any of that. It's just strictly if you need a crew member, lucky you just found one floating in the middle of the ocean. The other way you can do it is by attacking ships and plundering them, which basically you do actually have to be careful with. You have to kind of guess how much damage you want to inflict, because if you inflict too little, obviously they're not going to get taken out. If you inflict too much, they're going to sink and you're not going to be able to get anything from them. You might be lucky, you might get a survivor and a loot, box of loot, which will be maybe 3 cloth as opposed to what you could probably get around about 20, 30, 40 or more cloth, for example. So you do have to be relatively careful. It's not too easy to do, to go overboard on it as such and sink a ship by accident. There I did a fair bit of damage actually afterwards, because they only needed a couple of shots and I've got 13 cannons each side. So as you can see there, the red line for their health bar as such is quite low there. Then moving on, you got the yellow bars that are in sections of 3, which you can't see anymore, so just go with the ship. That's your ship's health. And then above that, I don't know if you noticed, but you have red cross swords, and that's basically your wanted level. Your wanted level works differently now, because previously it was in the cities, and in Assassin's Creed 3 I don't know if they had it in naval. I can't remember. I didn't do a lot of naval missions myself personally. I didn't really enjoy them too much. But now you don't have that much of a wanted level, if one at all, in the cities and towns. It's all based on the naval side of things. When you're out in the ocean on your ship, it's your ship that carries the reputation, and you with it, but more people tend to try and go for your ship because they're pirate hunters. And that brings me to another thing. Normal ships like this, unless you're in a restricted area of theirs, they won't attack you. You could be the most wanted pirate. Blackbeard could sail right past them, they wouldn't give a damn, they wouldn't even know who the hell he was. But you have pirate hunters who are the only people who will find you. The downside to them is they pop up randomly, you can't just dodge them. So if they pop up, you have to try and outrun them as quick as you can and hope that they don't see you, or if they see you, they'll just chase you and chase you and chase you. So you have to deal with them one way or another. So the upside to it is that you don't need to worry about being stealthy all the time and dodging people, but the downside is you can't dodge people. They either turn up or they don't. So again, that is more of a personal thing, and is something you'll probably have to play the game to decide whether you think that's good or not. Other than that, I think I've pretty much covered everything. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want my opinion, I highly recommend this game. Simple as that. It's the best one they've ever made. So, thank you.